Hey guys, welcome to F1 Podcast, episode 82. As always, it's Max and Pep, and we set up the video camera every week and talk about Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
So Max, let's talk about the most recent stuff. Monza, what a great race. These wet weather races, mate, they spice things up.
Probably one of the best races I've seen in a long time. Had loads of everything. And we've got this young kid, Vettel, the youngest winner of a Formula One race ever. And drove a very smart race, but there was a lot of action from the back of the grid as well.
Yeah, it was fantastic to see Vettel win.
All in all, a terrific race.
It was, mate. I said it in a previous episode, I just love it when new people win Grand Prix, and Vettel delivered. I mean, he not only did he deliver in the race, mate, but in just after the race, he was so happy, and it was really good to see him on the podium and in the press conference. It was just fantastic. It's sort of, you think, oh yeah, that's just great. I mean, he's so appreciative, and he's a humble guy.
And it did make me think as well, mate, hearing the German anthem and then the Italian anthem. It reminded me of another Formula One driver, mate, from the recent past, and it was good to hear again.
It was classic, actually. As the race was finishing, I was thinking, okay, German, Italian, it's going to happen. And it was quite bizarre to hear it, and you guys have commented on it as well. That it was good to see the national anthems very reminiscent of the shoe, mate.
It was.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Vettel did a good race. He was flawless as far as I could see. The ITV commentators at least were trying to talk it up a little bit, but as far as I could see, the guy was solid. He didn't, he had the odd little wiggle or something, but geez.
They all did?
Yeah, but he was never going to lose the race as far as I could see. In the last few laps I was going, come on, I just really wanted to see him win it. It was great. It was a great podium as well, Max. Not only was it Vettel, but it was also Heikki and Kubica, who had also just won their first races this year. So
yeah, it was kind of weird not to see a Hamilton or a Massa on the podium, was it? So it was good to see Seb get up. And mate, it all started in qualifying. When you think about it, he qualified first, and myself and I think a lot of other people figured that he'll get taken during the race, and he didn't, and he drove a very smart race, I think, as well, and he was never headed, and that would have put an inordinate amount of pressure on the young fellow's shoulders. Qualifying first,
leading the race,
and controlling it. So he finished first. So I think it's fantastic, and it was great to see Gerhard Berger at the end.
Oh yeah,
absolute wretches.
Excellent to see Gerhard on the podium. But you're right, mate. He didn't just qualify on pole, but also he managed the race, the pit stop strategies, the changing weather. Rain's coming, is it not? He just really delivered. And there was a lot of conversations about Lewis coming through, and the fact that Kimi actually wasn't coming through. But for me, he just ran away with it, and that was the end. He was
with the help of a Ferrari engine at Monza. Does it get any better?
And that Ferrari's got a lot more pace, as you guys probably would have read, than the Renaults. So that Toro Rosso, I tell you, it's got the Newey chassis, it's got a Ferrari engine, and
seamless gearbox.
It's a very tidy package.
It's a rocket.
And let's face it, Max, they've been doing so well in practice recently. They do actually. I mean, you could say, okay, it's a bit of an anomaly, but really, these guys have got momentum, Max.
Sure,
they've really been coming along.
Mate, Porte qualified fourth. I mean, there's two Toro Rossos in the top 10 as far as qualification is concerned. I mean, at the beginning of the year, who'd have ever thought that?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's great.
No chance in hell.
Minardi pedigree.
Minardi.
I'm loving it. It's a great story for Formula One. It's awesome.
Paul Stoddart, please come back.
All right, Matt. Well, let's talk about some of the other things in the race. Obviously, Lewis was coming through the field a little bit, and Kimi was languishing back there. I was surprised. I thought the two of them would sort of come through. But
that Ferrari doesn't like the wet, mate.
No, it doesn't. And, it's been a big talking point this week about Lewis's aggression. And I'll tell you what, I was watching the race and I was thinking, this guy's really aggressive. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, he really does take the rules to the limit and say, okay, I'm coming through, baby. And if you're Webber or if you're Glock and you're behind me, then I'm taking the racing line.
Mate, we're not playing tiddlywinks at the end of the day. I mean, this is hard and tough and aggressive. And Lewis, there's shades of Schumacher as well with taking
Senna.
Things to the end. And Senna, absolutely.
The absolute aggression.
Lewis is a racer. And, all this carping on about him, he was aggressive here and aggressive there. I've watched the move on Glock. I've watched the move on Webber as well. I mean, if we're all going to be up in arms about that, then we might as well just have a processional Formula One race. This kid's adding some spice to Formula One.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not is irrelevant. From a pure racing perspective, the guy sees a gap about that big, and he's like, I'm going to have a shot.
And me, Max, I respect that. I mean, for me, I love the aggressive drivers over the years. I love the ones who really go for it and push the limits. And sure, if you break the rules, you get pinged. But go to the very edge, and Lewis is doing that.
Yeah, he is, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, all the better for our sport to have a bit of a character out there who's going to have a shot. He's going to have a go.
Yeah.
And the day that we get drivers that don't do that or won't do that is the day that I turn off watching Formula One, because it would just be a processional, boring race.
Exactly.
This guy's certainly got something else. There's no doubt about it. And I think for the next couple of years in Formula One, at least, with your Seb Vettel and Lewis Hamilton and drivers of those ilk, I think our sport's in pretty good shape.
Definitely, yeah. It was a really good race from that perspective, lots of overtaking, and by the way, apologies for the light. If things have changed, the sun's moved, and
if we've got stripes over our faces,
moustaches or something, a grey moustache. Anyway, it was a really exciting race, and it's good to see Formula One putting on a good show again, Max. And
sure.
the championship's so tight now. Lewis is leading Felipe by 1 point. Kimi, there's been some press this week about Kimi. As far as I'm concerned, I've been tipping him. You guys know I'm a big Kimi fan, and it's time for Kimi to support Felipe. The game's over.
There's 4 races to go. I mean, as a businessman running Ferrari, I'd be thinking, all right, well, we've got to start switching our allegiance to Felipe. It was interesting that Felipe commented during the week that he expects no favours from Kimi. And that they're not friends or anything like that.
Yeah.
And look, that's fair enough. At the end of the day, Massa's leading Kimi. And I think that if the situation or the roles were reversed, then Massa would have to swing behind Kimi. But all of a sudden, we find Felipe Massa within a heartbeat of being able to win his first World Championship.
Yeah.
Now, I would never have put money on that in my life.
And here we go, yeah.
As Villeneuve was wonderfully quoted as saying once, that Massa has trouble driving in a straight line.
Oh, Max, you had to get Villeneuve in.
I had to. Go, Jack. Come back. We miss you. This kid's he's going well, and it'll be interesting to see what Ferrari do.
Yeah.
But I believe that it's now getting to the pointy end that they have to pretty much swing behind Felipe.
They do, and Kimi's made some comments, but really I don't put much credence in that, because Kimi would have been spoken to by the team, and probably they said to Kimi, say what you want to the press, but this is the situation. You got a chance. Okay, last year he pulled off the miracle and snared it in the last minute.
We shouldn't forget that.
No, but at the moment, really, given a decision on a race day, you've got to back Felipe. I mean, I love Kimi, but you have to. He's just nowhere there. So.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, we're moving on to Singapore next. We've got the night race, and actually there's a really cool video with Mark Webber talking about the circuit. There's like an animated version of the circuit, and we've favoured it on our channel, and the circuit, Max, looks fantastic. And
definitely have a look at it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's favoured there, so check it out.
I saw it for the first time today, and I was pretty spun out by it. It's going to be one hell of a race, and it could set a precedent for future night races in Southeast Asia, mate, and Asia as a whole. So I think there's a hell of a lot on counting on Singapore to get this right, and I've no reason to believe that they won't. But it rains a lot in Singapore, man.
Yeah, the ITV guys said on the last coverage that there was a long-term forecast of 60% rain. Now, there's been a week since then, but I tell you, if it's raining, it's going to be very interesting, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of banter about that before the race, especially if it looks like it's going to rain.
There sure will be.
That circuit, mate, just looks fantastic. Along through the city there, under the grandstand, across the bridge, past the Ferris wheel. It's a pretty spectacular circuit.
But most importantly, there's a couple of areas on the circuit that you can overtake at.
Yeah.
And I think
a few slow bits as well.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of slow corners. Quite a bit of a twisty infield here and there in some sectors, but it does have the important thing of overtaking areas, and I think that's what's been lacking, as I think you'd all agree, in a lot of modern Formula One circuits. So I really hope that Singapore pull it off. And it's going to be a fantastic race, I've no doubt, and we'll talk more about it in our next podcast.
Yeah, we're going to do another video with our tips and stuff probably next week, and a full preview of Singapore. But until then, thanks very much for all your comments. We've had heaps of comments recently, and a few little spats going on between a few of you, but we like that. It's great. It keeps the passion going. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon for the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.